Good evening, happy May, and welcome to the Be the Message podcast with Queen Angel. I am Angel Simmons. I am your Miss Revolutionary Purpose World, also your Miss Midwest Revolutionary Purpose 2025. My platform is Be the Message, Suicide Prevention and Mental Wellness. So I am here to talk about, guess what? You got it. That's what I'm talking about. So, the purpose of this podcast is to shine light and give a voice to causes and people that are making necessary and significant change today in their fields. This month includes many awareness causes, a few that are dear to me, but especially lupus awareness. But tonight, we are shining light on, of course, Mental Health Awareness Month. I have been an advocate for mental health and wellness, grief and loss support, suicide prevention since 2014, older than some of you all that might even be watching. In February, I earned my mental health coaching diploma through Light University, which is part of the American Association for Christian Counselors. I also proudly hold over 100 professional certifications in mental health and related topics. Now, when I first took a look at the revolutionary pageant system, which is my house right now, I saw posts of their title holders on Capitol Hill, and they were fighting for legislation for policy changes for mental health as well as chronic illness. And at that very moment, I was sitting at home signing policies online, signing petitions online for youth mental health and education at that very moment. So, it caught my attention. The work that this system does, the work that their title holders to do, the work of Tisha Savage, our fearless director, and all of the directors that are a part of Revolutionary Pageants. But let me tell you, tonight's guest was in most of those photos, most of those posts. It was her beautiful face in a gown, in a crown, in a sash, in a suit, in a dress. She was out there everywhere they were. She is a mental health advocate. She is the co-host of the Symptoms May Vary podcast, coming soon near you. She is the 2026 Unsung Hero Awardee. She is a two-time Advocate of the Year awardee. Two-time. She is also a two-time Wellness Warrior and Miss Wellness Warrior World 2025. And she is our Miss Revolutionary International 2025 to 2026. And I am excited to interview her. She interviewed me right after I did interviews in February, and that was so fun. And I could not wait to have her on here so I can talk about her and all the amazing things that she has been doing. So please welcome to Be the Message, Miss Kathryn Berry.
Hi, everyone. Can I just have you introduce me into anything in life? Because that was incredible.
Yes, you can hire me for that. Yes.
I will.
But it's all true. I didn't have to fluff anything. Matter of fact, I didn't even list everything that I know or things that you probably forgot to tell me because you've done that much. And that's one thing I love about our revolutionary family. We're not for show. This is life. This is what we do. If you have to find a pageant platform in order to be a pageant title holder, I don't know what to tell you because everybody else, this is our life's work. This is what we do. This is our mission. This is our passion. This is what we do every day. You see me outside. If you see me out of town, if you see me on a flight, I'm doing what I do. When you see Miss Kathryn Berry outside and at a walk and at somebody's charity function and at an award program, she's doing what she does. This is not made up. We're not putting on a show. When they say be a part of the change, we are the change. And I appreciate that. And I'm so glad to have you. I believe you are one of the first revolutionary title holders I've had on this podcast. And we are in episode 6. And I am very excited to have you here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Whew. Wow, wow, wow. So tell us about what you have been doing this month for mental health.
I feel like May is so busy with events that we actually have to practice what we preach and not overload our plate with events. In the past, especially past mental health awareness months, I have been known to do that. So this month, I set up a schedule. I've got 5 different appearances and something that's manageable for me. I know, which is still a lot.
Well, I mean, it's the 5th month, so of course you have 5 appearances.
Yes,
all right.
Year for sure. So to kick off the month, I actually judged a competition. It's a youth art expression competition, and it's for grades 5 through 12, and students in that age range to basically just express themselves through art, whether that's song, dance, film, poetry, drawings, paintings, things like that. And previous years, I have judged the film version of it and the songs. And this year, I actually got to judge the drawing and painting portion of it. So these kids are so young and they're so inspirational, but like they are artistic, they can draw. I was like, I could not do any of this. And so I really was just truly like humbled and inspired that that age group talks about mental health and they know where to go to find support. They know who their trusted adult is, and that is so, so important for their success. So I got to judge that for the 3rd year in a row. And then at the end of the month, we have an art gallery, a little celebration for everyone that submitted, and then the finalists are announced and celebrated as well. So I'm very grateful to be a part of that. It's called Magnify Voices, and it's in partnership with NAMI New Hampshire.
Awesome. We love NAMI. I wore my green shirt today because I was thinking about the month and the work that they do. So excellent. What else you got lined up?
We did, Revolutionary went to the NAMI Davidson County and Middle Tennessee fundraiser walk. So that was May 9th. And then this podcast. And then I feel like I'm missing something else. Oh, yeah, no, I just remembered. This one was super important. So this was my 3rd time attending this. It is called This Is My Brave. It's to benefit NAMI New Hampshire. It's actually an international production that started in Australia, and it's to promote storytelling saving lives, because when you share how you've been impacted by mental health, you don't know who needs to hear your story. You don't know who you're going to help by sharing that story. And they talked about everything from addiction to suicide, anxiety, domestic violence, things like that. And there was such a variety of stories that I took away something for each story the person told. So that was really important. And they're almost at their goal of raising $15,000 from just
Wow.
Yeah. And all that money raised is in New Hampshire to help people that are battling mental illness.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been involved with NAMI?
I've been involved with NAMI, honestly, since the beginning of my pageant journey. So I want to say almost 5 years now. So it's been quite the journey of being a volunteer and advocate with them. And it's just incredible to see how much they grow each year. Our annual walk for New Hampshire is in October. And this past October, they hit a crazy goal. Their goal was $250,000, but they ended up raising over $300,000, which I think was one of the largest fundraising events in at least New England, if not in NAMI history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Any other events for this month, or was that the last one?
No, that's it for now. But I'm sure I'll find some more somehow.
Well, there's something going on at the end of the month that we are looking forward to, and this is where we're going to need some audience participation.
We
Shout
are.
out to Eric. Hey, Eric. Is it Eric or Rick? Ricky.
Oh, that's my friend. Yeah. Hi.
Ricky. Hi. Welcome to the Message, Be the Message podcast, Ricky. We are excited to have you there. And yes, we are all very, very, very proud of our dear friend, Miss Kathryn Berry. But there's an event at the end of the month that
Mm-hmm.
we are hoping to attend, and
Yep.
this is NamiCon. NamiCon is taking place in Atlanta, Georgia, and we would love to be able to represent uh, Crowns for Change and the work that we have done in advocacy in mental health and fighting chronic illness. And there's a group of us that are trying to make it down there. So I want you to take a look at the Crowns for Change page um, and see the work that we have been doing. And there's a spot for you to donate if you are interested and are able to help us make it down there. Because it's several days. It's
Yes.
several days, and there are a few of us. So we are definitely looking for support so that our team can make it down to NAMI's annual conference in Atlanta. Have you attended before?
No, I've always wanted to, and I was gonna mention as well. Every year they rotate with this conference being in person or virtual. And
Mhm.
so the first year that I had signed up, I believe it was in person, just missed the cutoff. Then it was virtual, and so this is like my first opportunity to be able to go, and I couldn't pick a better group of people to go.
Yeah, I think I've been at some of the virtual workshops during the conference. NAMI was very big on coming in and doing training for our leadership team when I was at Boys and Girls Club of Chicago. So we saw a lot of them coming in to help us help our staff and to help us to be able to better serve our young people who were in our clubs at our sites. So that was my introduction to NAMI maybe 7 years ago. I have been working with American Foundation for Suicide Prevention since 2014, but NAMI was about 7 years ago. And then last year was the first time I was able to do team captain for the walk for
Yeah.
Chicago. And then May 3rd, we just had, they moved it. They moved it from October to May. Um, Perfect month. It was cold outside though. But,
Yes.
but we were out there. And instead of being team captain, I was a volunteer. So I was handing out shirts at Walker Check In. So I'm grateful to have been able to participate in an event in a different way instead of just
Mhm.
sitting there and taking pictures, but I was able to meet
Mhm.
people and be of help. So I am very interested. I'm very much looking forward to being able to attend the conference in person this year. So we got a couple of weeks.
Yes.
We need all the support we can get to get there.
We do. And it's really important because we're going to be in different meetings and meeting different people and just learning more about how we can help our communities and how to raise awareness. So it would be extremely beneficial for us to go.
Yes, and for our title holders, because that knowledge that we're taking away with us, we're bringing back to revolutionary pageants. We're bringing it back to Crowns for Change,
Mhm.
we're bringing it back to the communities that we service in New Hampshire and Chicago and Tennessee and Utah and everywhere that we have representation. And yeah, that's very important. Very important. Um, so I got some questions for you.
Okay.
Mental Health Awareness Month, I have to ask questions. Um,
Absolutely.
my first question for you, how do you maintain your mental health during challenging times? I know this has been a stressful year already
Yeah.
and a stressful season. I know you got a lot going on. I've seen your posts. I know a little bit of a little bit, and you can tell them what you want, but how are you
Yeah.
maintaining your health during these challenges?
I mean, it's hard, right? You have to really give yourself grace and know that the bad times aren't going to last forever. I kind of like to use the analogy because I love the beach. So I like to use the analogy of riding the wave. So you're going to have some highs, you're going to have some lows, and you're going to have some times where you're just kind of sitting there floating in the ocean. I feel like that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm at a pause, and it's difficult, but you have to also know who your group of people you can reach out to for support. So that's the first thing that I do. And what else? I mean, movement is extremely important to me. So I struggle with anxiety, panic disorder, PTSD, and depression. And when you're anxious, it is like butterflies in your stomach. You feel like you can't get this energy out. So whether that's going for like a 20-minute walk, going to the gym, going to yoga, doing something to move that energy, usually that helps calm me down. And so I've been really focusing on that, focusing on my support system, and then just trying to stay positive, knowing that better things are to come. It's crazy how quickly life can change. Just a little background, I was laid off from my job in 2024, right before Christmas, and then was in a temporary role working with foster kids for about a year and a half. And for someone that struggles with mental illness like I do, that can be extremely emotionally and physically exhausting. And I saw myself getting to that point where I wasn't filling up my cup anymore and just continuously giving and giving and giving and giving. And I knew I had to step away. So I started applying to different jobs, going through the interview process, and was told in 3 rounds of interview that I was going to be offered a position. So I banked on that and I quit my job, that temporary role. Yeah. And then waited 4.5 weeks for a offer letter to come through that never came through. So now I'm still applying to jobs. We all know that the job market is extremely competitive, and that's definitely my number one stressor right now. And so I look at what can I control, and I can control my reaction and how I take care of myself. And so starting a new workout program, starting a new nutrition program, going to the gym, going to yoga, getting my movement in, and relying on my support system. That's what I do during challenging times, for sure.
Okay. Now, you named 4 different mental health conditions.
Yeah.
What issues have you had obtaining medications or support that is affordable and adequate
Yeah.
medication and support for your mental health conditions?
So I feel like I've kind of been lucky in that sense. I was diagnosed with 3 out of those 4 mental illnesses in 2017, and I just couldn't function anymore. I was lucky to get into therapy about 2 weeks later after I reached out to my mom, and I was like, I can't even go to work. I can't even do anything. All I do is cry all the time, and I literally can't move my body. And so I was lucky enough to get into therapy quickly, which I know is not the case, especially right now. And we talked about medication. I started on Zoloft. I was able to get it because I was still under my parents' insurance. So they had really great insurance, and I think it was something like less than $20 a month for medication. Started that medication and gained about 40 pounds. And working in fitness at the time, I was like, I'm doing everything possible to maintain a healthy life, and this is not helping me. It's almost like it's helping with my anxiety, which is great. And this is just personal. It helps other people. But it was helping with my anxiety, but was also giving me like body dysmorphia. So then it was like I had to weigh out both of the options. So then when I was living in Nashville, I saw a different doctor, and they prescribed Paxil, which is known as the number 1 weight gain for mental health medication. And After that, my journey with medication was pretty much over. I had found a solid routine of like movement, nutrition, support, and going to therapy consistently. And that's what ended up working for me. And with my psychologist and therapist's approval, I was able to come off of medication. So never really had a problem accessing it. I have not been on mental health medication for 5 years now, a little over 5 years. But I'm sure that if I tried to get something this time, I don't have health insurance. I don't have a job. That my previous job didn't offer health insurance. I currently don't have health insurance, so I'm sure if I would go to get it now, it would be extremely expensive. Yeah. I know, it's a lot of info.
You said you were diagnosed in 2017, and I was thinking that was very close to the start of the pandemic. How did the pandemic affect you dealing with anxiety and depression and newly on medication?
Yeah, it was a lot, and I'll add a couple more to the mix as well. So I had just moved to Nashville. I was there for less than a year. Really wanted to start my life down there. I was dating someone who I thought I was going to marry, and little did I know that that relationship was the definition of domestic violence.
Okay.
So being kind of trapped in your house with no like having social interactions or going somewhere, doing something, and being trapped in the house with that person who you thought was the only person you could trust at the time, that just added a whole other level to it.
What kind of resources were you able to find after that situation? What did you lean into? Because obviously you're not still there. So
Right.
how were you able to distance yourself from that?
So there was two different scenarios. So I decided to move back home because I had a FaceTime with my mom, and I would call her every single day, just crying and explaining the things that he would say and try to do to me. I got to the point where I was so sick. I was like throwing up every morning, not eating, not drinking, and just worrying about what am I going to do wrong today. And so when I FaceTimed my mom, she was like, "This isn't the Kathryn that I know. You need to come home." So I went home. That was in February of 2022. And moved back in with my mom, had that support system, was physically safe by being at her house and being now away from him. And I was now able to end that relationship. And that was probably one of the best things I ever did in my entire life.
It's nothing like having a mama that supports you.
Yeah. Well, my whole family does, but she was like the go-to person.
In all of this,
Yeah.
when did you get involved in pageantry?
Actually, during it. So
Tell that story.
Okay. So it was still when I was down in Nashville. I had been approached through Instagram by someone, a director that was like, "Oh my gosh, you have such a beautiful smile. Have you ever considered pageantry?" And I was like, "What?" Like, yeah, I've always dreamt of competing in a pageant. And I was a little girl. Like, that was one of my dreams ever since I was probably 5 years old. But when you think of pageantry, you think of Miss USA and Miss America. And so I was like, I don't look like that. I'm not that tall. I'm not like a size 0, and I'm going to set myself up for failure if I compete in a pageant that's strictly just a beauty pageant. And so when I was approached by this organization where it was talking about like women empowerment and all these great things, I was like, you know, I should give this a try. My confidence is extremely low. I need to do something for myself. And so I joined, and he hated that and made me put a pause on it for a little bit. Then I moved home, ended that relationship, then got back into pageantry. So it was about the spring of 2022. And then the first year was great. I had a state title, competed at nationals, won a national title, which was crazy for my first time ever. And then moving on to year two, where this wasn't an international pageant. Some of the things that they did were very funky. So moving on to year two, as that national title, my director completely shifted the way that she felt about me. And then it made it seem like I was only dollar signs to her. And everything that I had wanted about pageantry kind of collapsed. I was bullied by my director for sharing my mental health story, trying to help others, and for my appearance. And it completely knocked me down that I didn't perform my best at the next level of the pageant that year. And her favorite won, and I placed last. And amongst that, there were other contestants that were told, you know, if you have a chronic disease and your feet have swollen because you can't fit your feet into shoes because of this chronic disease, you can go barefoot. My friend went barefoot and she got marked off points, and she got last in her division. So that experience really knocked the wind out of my sails. That director at that time told me afterwards, she was like, because I ended up actually having a panic attack on stage. And that had never happened to me before. And usually, you know, you're like, oh, I can suck it up, it's fine. Like, I saw everything happening because they were just giving all of the best of awards to that person in a row, in a row, in a row, in a row. So when you give the best of awards, you already know who's winning. And so when that was going on, I had a panic attack on stage and I was crying. And I was like, I need to just get out of here. Like, you almost feel like you're unsafe. And that's a familiar feeling for me. And so that feeling of uneasy and unsafe, like, I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. And it was like, no way out. You can't just run off the stage. And so I was crying. And afterwards, at the after party, the director didn't say anything. She goes, you were crying like a baby up there and everyone was staring at you. When I tell you, it took everything in me to not have a very difficult exchange with her, I simply walked away. And that experience, at the time, I thought it had ruined the meaning of pageantry for me, but it actually was the catapult into what we do now. And that is why I am so passionate about sharing your mental health story in general, but specifically in pageantry. We're all taught to use our voices for good. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm also like really passionate about the bullying that I consistently see in pageantry every day with adults. And so because of my experience, that's why I'm so passionate about those two topics. And I'm just really grateful that I have this safe space now in pageantry to be who I am and grow and learn how to use my voice and not just, you know, post stuff online. Yeah, of course we do that, but actually take it to the next level and say, okay, cool. Here's my story. I don't want other people to feel the darkness that I felt before. So I'm going to go to Capitol Hill and I'm going to make a change with all of the people that are extremely powerful and important with me. And that's what we've done for the last 2 years. And nothing can take that away from us.
Now, I have been in pageant spaces where I was left out of groups and not received information that everybody had. I've been in spaces where people dropped out when they saw what color the directors were. I've been in spaces where directors told me everything wasn't about race when we were so obviously being discriminated against. as someone who doesn't look like me, why is it important having inclusion and diversity and adaptability in fashion and modeling and pageantry?
Because everyone deserves a chance to use their story to help others. And I mean, that's such a great question. Because honestly, because that's the right thing to do. You know what? I'm going to go with that because that's the right thing to do. I think one of the experiences that I saw when it comes to like adaptability was when we were at New York Fashion Week and we partnered with Lady Finds, who makes, yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking about, New York Fashion Week. I wasn't even there, but I heard stories.
Yeah. So we partnered with an adaptable clothing line called Lady Finds, and she makes different like tracksuits and business outfits that are honestly gorgeous. And some of them like have a zipper on the side, so you can use it if you have a port, or part of the entire leg actually will zip all the way to the hip. So if you have a prosthetic leg, you can just change it instead of taking your pants off. So that was really cool to see. And unfortunately, we were not met with the things that we needed at that event for our models who are wheelchair bound. And so instead of us saying, hey, like we can't have her, you know, present herself in the fashion show, we were like, we're all going to walk on the floor and we're going to have her lead the fashion show. Because just because they were not accommodating and said that they were going to be from weeks ahead of time, we're going to rally together. This is what this brand is about. This is what Revolutionary Pageants is about. And we are going to band together and we're going to rock this fashion show. And that's what we did. And it was like extremely powerful. And one of the highlights of being a title holder with Revolutionary, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience going to Capitol Hill with Revolutionary Pageants.
Yeah, that was this past October. So this was the first time I did this on a federal level. Prior to that, the past 2 years, I went with AFSP New Hampshire and NAMI New Hampshire to the state capitol and was able to meet with legislators there. So it was almost like a practice for what we were going to do last October. So we went with NPF, so National Psoriasis Foundation. Our director has psoriatic arthritis. And so we went with them to advocate not just for psoriatic arthritis, but for healthcare in general. And so it was really cool that I could share a little bit about my mental health story and, like you were asking me before, access to medication and things like that, and relate that story back to a bill that we were trying to pass, which was the PBM reform. And so we were able to meet with senators and our House reps for our state. So I got to meet with everyone from my state, and Heidi, our Crowns for Change, what's her title? She's a Crowns for Change, like, I guess, director. So she's on the board for Crowns for Change. She actually got to come with me, which was really cool. And I was like, this is my senator for New Hampshire. And we got to actually meet. And, you know, I think it's so important with relationship building to kind of build that connection. So certain things, like one of the House reps, his family owns a really historic restaurant here in Manchester, New Hampshire. So it was like, hey, I went to your restaurant last weekend, and by the way, this is what we're here for. That's exactly how I looked at it. I mean, look, we all face different challenges every single day. No matter if you have a mental illness, if you have a chronic disease, if you have a disability, but we were all able to come together and share what we deal with on a daily basis and how we can help that in our state, but then also help on a federal level by pushing certain bills. And one of them was the PBM reform, which I think had really good success in Tennessee. Don't quote me on that. I'm waiting for Tisha to pop in the comments and be like, this is what's up.
She'll catch the replay, I'm sure.
But it was really cool to have that experience with such a great group of people, just advocates and just wanting to push forward and see change and help people get the help that they need. You know, healthcare is a human right, and we deserve to have access to the things that we need to live our healthiest and most authentic lives. And to be able to share my story, and sometimes you think, especially when you have mental illness, that you know, no one cares about me. My story doesn't matter. You can tell yourself all those things. You kind of empowered when you told your story to people that make that I'm losing my train of thought, that push the laws, and you get to actually tell them your story and impact that. And like, it's a truly incredible and unique experience. And I'm super grateful that I was able to go. And I hope in the future I get to go with NAMI. I get to go with NPF again. I'll go to Capitol Hill all the time. They're going to be sick of me.
Prepare to be sick of me.
Prepare to be sick of me.
How did you get involved with the AFSP there? You said that was your test run.
Oh yeah. So New Hampshire is really cool since we're kind of a smaller state. Our mental health nonprofits all kind of team up together for what we call our state capital day. So it was run by the director of AFSP, but NAMI New Hampshire was there. We also had some youth mental health groups there as well, another group for veterans too. So it's everyone just kind of coming together on a state level to make a change. So that's kind of how I got involved with AFSP. Last year, I was actually able to attend their gala for the New Hampshire chapter, and I got to go with our sister queen, Mariah, Miss Revolutionary World.
Hey, Mariah.
Yeah, we had such a beautiful night. We got to wear our gowns and our crowns and sashes and support a really good cause. So that's how I got started with them, and I definitely want to get more involved as well. But they all work in like conjunction with each other, which is really great. Yeah.
Speaking of change and creating change,
Yeah.
I would love for you to share with our audience and those who will catch the replay, what are some things that people should not say to someone who is living with a mental health condition, living with a chronic illness and invisible illness? What are some of those things that should never come out of people's mouth?
Yeah, I mean, the first one that comes to mind with someone like me who struggles with anxiety, just calm down.
I think that's a universal phrase. Yeah. You can't say to any woman under any circumstance.
And it's like,
it's not the language you want to start with. I am immediately worse off than I was.
And you're like, if I could, I would have, and I wouldn't have asked for help, or I wouldn't have acted this certain way. So just calm down. Or another one is your story doesn't matter, or nobody cares about you, or I mean, there's like more graphic stuff, or like, yeah, like you don't belong here, or forcing actions, or saying really difficult or bad things to push someone towards an edge of attempting suicide or not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, just relax. That's a good one too.
It's worse than calm down.
Yeah.
I am immediately unrelaxed now that you said that. On the flip side, what are some of the most encouraging things you have heard that were supportive and empathetic and loving and understanding? What are some of the most encouraging things you've heard?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first is like a general consensus. Like you get to a point in life, especially if you have mental illness like I do and dealing with 4 different kinds, you want to be around people that make you feel safe and that make you feel supported and loved. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And I think what people can say is like, I understand you, I'm here for you. And sometimes like you just want to vent, you just want to talk. And so if someone has the capability to be like, are you looking for advice or do you need someone just to listen to you? I think that's super important, because when I get in a panic, I just have like 35 tabs open in my mind, and I'm bouncing from back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and adding more instead of closing out more. So if I can take a second, sit down, and have someone help me take a deep breath and explain to them like, okay, these are the things that I'm thinking, and then let me just say it, then usually you can close the entire browser.
The whole browser. Wow.
Sometimes, or just have 1 or 2 tabs open that you can bounce back and forth, which is a lot more manageable than 35.
Okay. That's good. That's good advice.
Yeah. I think just the simplest ones are, I support you, I see you, I care about you, I value you. How can I help you? How can I show my support? So if you don't know what to do in a situation when someone is either dealing with a mental health crisis or having a panic attack or something, ask them, how can I support you? Sometimes they're able to tell you. And if this is something that happens to them on a regular basis, like me, I can be like, okay, like I just need to tell you like what's going on.
Ricky said, yikes. To just relax. Yes, Ricky, don't ever tell a woman to relax and calm down. It don't matter what kind of condition she got. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, for real. I know. It's so funny.
We appreciate you feeling our plight right now.
Yeah. And shout out to Ricky. He's one of my dear friends, and he's one of those safe people that I can always turn to, and I'm really grateful for him. So
thank God for safe people.
Yeah.
I pride myself on being a safe person.
Me too.
I have a very small circle, and it gets smaller. It gets smaller with every birthday. I have a very small circle. And I jokingly tell people my hashtag is always no new friends. And every year I meet new friends. They get added to it, but someone else gets taken away. So I don't know what happens. I didn't do it, but I always get new friends.
Yeah, and it gets to a point too, like sometimes where for me, like you can only take so much, and then your body physically like rejects being around certain people.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite
and that's when you know it's time to go.
My favorite shirt is the one that has the social meter with how many lines. Like this is how much room I got. Oh my gosh. Like I got 2 lines. It's time to go. It's time to go.
Yep, exactly. I think there's actually a pin for that we could put on our sashes where it's like a social meter and we can just like
slide it back and forth.
You know what? I'm gonna get
those. One end.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me your favorite experience with revolutionary pageants? What has been your most memorable moments? You've been to nationals, you've been to internationals, you've been to nationals again. You've been online with Purpose when Purpose had their competition. So what has been your favorite moment?
It's really hard to just choose one. I mean, I know you know how stressful this industry can be, and it's been an uphill battle, to say the least. To pick just one is definitely difficult. I mean, the New York Fashion Week experience was really cool. Capitol Hill was fantastic. I think that I'm trying to think of something specific, but there really isn't one, because the general consensus and the smallest things have been the most memorable for me. So I'm trying to think of someone who said, I don't know the exact person's story and I don't want to say it wrong, but the general consensus of people applying and saying, I thought I wasn't going to be able to compete anymore. I thought because I have this disability, there was no place for me. I thought because of who I am, I wouldn't be welcomed here. I thought because if I didn't look a certain way, I wouldn't be welcomed here. And so every person has a different story on whether they competed in pageantry before or not. And I think that when we really truly have broken the typical standards, and that has been the most rewarding and impactful in my mind, because we were there. I mean, I've seen my director, our CEO, our director, Tisha, she has been involved in pageantry for 20 years. And I've heard all the stories from her. And she is a person that truly, truly never, ever gives up. Ooh, I'm getting emotional.
I can vouch for being one of those people because I thought I was retired.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any taller. I probably won't get any smaller. The pandemic meant I stopped wearing heels, so my feet reject them automatically now. I'm not going to get any lighter, and I can't change who I am or how I talk or where I'm from, and this is what you get. So I thought I was done with pageantry. I had just lost my job. It has been almost exactly a year. Almost exactly a year. So May 23rd last year was the day I closed my club down.
Yeah.
And I didn't have money to go to Vegas for internationals last year. And then the Purpose Division was available to me. So I am definitely on the list of I thought I wouldn't. And then there was Revolutionary. So it holds a very special place in my heart because I didn't want to do this. And I thought I was done. And the fact that there was an open door and it was very supportive and welcoming, and it looked like everybody. That was very critical to our decision to step into the light.
The two things what you said I wanted to touch on was, the first is to be a good title holder. I don't think that you have to look a certain way or be a certain person. You just want to better your own life and then better your community. And if people want to do that, they deserve a shot as being a title holder. And that's what we're all about. And the second thing is, this like popped up when you were explaining your story. Obviously, I knew a little bit about your journeys, so like specifically with us. And to think if you didn't take that chance on yourself and you didn't bet on yourself 100% when you were in such a tough position with losing your job and everything like that, and you now hold the highest title in our Purpose Division. And I can tell you how I've been so impressed by you. I'm serious. Because you're literally the definition of you practice what you preach, right? You didn't give up on yourself. And now you have the highest title, Angel. Like, that's incredible. That story. And you do this not to compete in pageants and not to have a crown. Like, you won because you're you. That's remarkable.
Yeah. And that's where I started with this system and these title holders and everybody I've seen. This is what we do. We're just out here living life. We just happen to have sparkles to go with it. You know, somebody saw what we did and was like, put her up there, put her in the light. But all the work that you do with AFSP and NAMI, all the work that you've been doing in New Hampshire and then flying to Tennessee when you get a chance, we just do this. It's really difficult when we see, you talked about bullying earlier. It's really difficult when you see other systems and other organizations and other title holders that are bad mouthing folks and
Yeah.
out here posting things and being negative. And it's like, if
Yeah.
you don't have time when you're walking in your purpose and you're on mission, you're on
Yep.
assignment, do not have time for negativity. You do not
Correct.
have time for scandal and defaming other people. You do not have time
Correct.
to compare yourself or ask
Mhm.
why not me, why you, why not me. You don't have time to do
Mhm.
that because you're on your assignment.
Mhm.
I can't go anywhere without showing up at Ronald McDonald House and trying to meet with somebody and buy them coffee. I can't go nowhere
Baking.
now. Baking cookies, And if I don't have time to bake cookies, then I'm gonna drop off donations because that's just what I do. I went
Yeah.
on vacation with somebody else in Phoenix, and what did Phoenix turn into?
Yeah, you're like,
I
I'm
got
meeting with
me this schedule.
you. Like,
I got me this schedule. How you got me this schedule? You're gonna be busy, so I got
right.
me this schedule.
But you're so right in what you say. When you walk in your purpose, you are not distracted by other people. You are not like, you don't have time to hate on other people. And when you're a good person and you practice what you preach, you don't do those things like bullying. And I think what really frustrates me, because, and I've talked about this with my friends and like with our CEO, like, I can't wrap my head around people that say they support a certain cause or support people's mental health when then in return they're the ones bullying, they're the ones defaming, they're the ones that are pushing slander and
Doesn't
these
match up.
things. And I
Doesn't
just
match
don't
up.
understand. And it's so disrespectful to not only like the person that you're trying to cause harm to. And my whole point is like, if you say that you're a mental health advocate and you support these organizations and you stand up for bullying and all that stuff, but then you're in turn doing it, what is your end goal? Like, do you want someone to end their life based
Hard.
on things that you say?
That's hard because
Because,
what the causes are. You know
right,
how to push buttons. You know what could
right,
be the potential outcome, and
right, exactly.
no, it doesn't
It
match
takes
up. It
a
doesn't
truly
match up.
evil person or group of people to do that. And I don't think that people like us would ever understand how certain people do that to others. And I know who we are. And like I mentioned in my post the other day, that's not going to happen on my watch.
Well, that's a great closing statement.
Yeah.
That is a great place to end the night. We know who
Yes,
we are.
we do.
We don't have time for
We're walking in our purpose.
foolishness. When you're on assignment, you don't have time um, to be involved with negativity and ill behavior. You just don't. You just don't. And as a title holder, we stand for something much higher.
Mm-hmm.
Much higher. Revolutionary change is. It's not just a phrase. Look it up. It's a definition. It's in the
Yeah.
Bible. It's in the definition. You can find. It's in the Bible. It's in the dictionary, Wikipedia. You can find it. Change means something. Um, and being in this industry, we have to be agents of change because we know what it's been and we know what we won't stand for. So, whew,
Absolutely.
final
Yeah.
words.
Yeah. I mean, well, my final word will be what's on my t-shirt. You matter. Your story matters. You matter. You have a purpose here. And if you're struggling or know someone that is, you can reach out to your local NAMI chapter and find the support that you need or get connected with the care that you need as well. And if someone is in crisis, you can text or call 988 and they will help you.
988. Yes, ma'am. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for being
Thank you.
here. and sitting with me and chatting with me and sharing your stories and your wisdom with the audience. Thank you, Ricky, for supporting your friend.
You're a fan.
I saw
You're the
some other eyes pop on, and we know people will catch the replay. You can hop over to YouTube. It will be loaded immediately after we end this stream. It'll be loaded there, and you can catch the replay from the beginning. Um, we're gonna hop into a revolutionary pageant meeting
we
because
are.
we do all the things.
Yes,
We
yes.
do all the things. But we are so grateful that you tuned in tonight, and thank you so much, Kathryn. And
Thank you, Angel.
do something that creates change for Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mhm.
You have plenty of time to volunteer, join the walk, find an organization, take some supplies, use your time, use your voice, speak out for someone, do something drastic if you haven't
Mhm.
done it before. Do something drastic this month to promote mental health awareness and take some time for yourself to
Yes.
maintain your own mental health. She gave us some tips and some practices earlier. Um, I'll be in Pilates on Thursday, so that is
I'll
one
fly
of
to Chicago to go with you.
yes, one of the
Imagine
things
I would
that I
love that.
do. Farmers Pilates and farmers market because it's the season. So that's what we're doing. Long as it's not raining, I'm on a walking trail. Um, but there are other things that are there. There are free resources like the Calm app as well as Headspace.
Mhm.
I utilize both of those every day. If you're
Yes.
having trouble sleeping, you got some frequency music. Find something to read. If you need some more tips, I will post some in the comments. But there are plenty of things you can do that don't cost you any money. There are plenty of hotlines that you can contact that would be able to provide over the phone counseling and support. So I will post those resources for you for this month. And we look forward to hearing your stories. And I will look forward to seeing you back here next month. We're going to be talking about Men's Mental Health Month in June.
Yes.
And I
Super for our
uh,
guy.
and I am looking forward to that episode as well. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Bye.